That's it. It says we're live. Today is Monday, the 15th of October, 2018. With us on the panel is Astral, Flat Earth Dude, and guests Andy and, of course, David.
Good evening, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, Karen. Thank you. Dave, Andy, Astral.
Hello there. Thank you.
Cheers,
Hello,
everyone.
Good to be back. Thank you very much, family. Peace and love to one and all.
Peace, man.
How's it going for you guys over there in the UK?
In the
Very
UK.
busy. It's very busy on Anglo soil. Don't try and trick us, brother. Nice try. Nice try.
Not a chance.
Yeah, we're busy. We are celebrating in many ways. Wow. Yes, lots to celebrate. We've had private wins we can't discuss, but within the family, they will come out in due course. We did a video about DWP, ESA, Andy, and one of the admins from the trust on Facebook called Kevin. He's got a formula and a strategy which is rather watertight with regards to those, what they call work capability assessments. So that's good. That was a good result.
Nice.
Homegrown from the hearts and minds and brains of, not from the internet.
Organic matter. Very nice.
Yes, Andy, you tell them. Go on, take it away.
No, you carry on, brother. You're just leading the way there. But as I do, put my little 10 pen thing. But it's hive mind. It's
done well, Annie. Kevin,
not you, all of us collectively.
He's done well, Kevin has. Yeah, he's made us proud. And we've got that video about 2 hours 40 up on Indie for you to have a look at. Anybody that's suffering or afflicted with these, issues at hand. We're honoured for you to watch that and give us some feedback, comments. Any of your family, any of Flat Earth?
Yeah, well, I got a friend, man, from Poncho's channel. His name's Jared. You guys may have heard of him. He's been around a while, hangs out there a lot. He's in jail right now, and he's not sure what to do, man. He's got to go see the judge in a couple of weeks.
Is he the guy on the beach with you, Flat Earth Dude?
No, it's another guy. He lives in Kansas. He got picked up on some warrant, and they just threw him in the clink, and he's just sitting there. He hasn't even seen the judge yet.
And he's suffered personage and bondage ever since. Intercourse with him, whether he wishes to or not.
So his friend Lisa White, which you know, Karen, is looking for some help to help him out because she's in contact with him on the phone.
Maybe it can be assisted then in somehow.
I don't know if we
whatever.
At least let Lisa know some links to Facebook and with all that.
How long has he been in prison for then?
He got a warrant for I'm not sure, a failure to appear from some other traffic ticket or something.
Yeah. Sounds familiar, Flat Earth.
Right.
We can put some links in about. I'll continue on with the good news because there is quite a bit. We have. I'm going to go straight for the punchline. Santos is coming on Saturday. What? I can't believe it. Saturday on Indie, about 11-12 p.m.
Nice.
Banacci and Giaramita are going to have a hangout entitled. Let me think of it correctly. I don't want to mess it up. Expressions of Freedom from the Descendants of Slaves. Yes.
Very nice. Does that mean you don't want to come on Sun and Moon on Thursday when Santos is on Saturday?
It kind of rings. Kind of rhymes.
It's heavyweight, isn't it? That'll be good. He's gonna. No, of course I'm coming on, Karen. I'm offended. You'd even think that.
Karen, what is wrong with you, man? Dude, you're insulting your guests.
Oh no,
I will.
No, I'm kidding.
He's a lovely man. He knows I mean him no harm. I was joking.
And I was going to come on Saturday. I'm going to introduce him to my subscribers, and I've said that I won't be monetizing it. I'll let Santos do that. Take that part. I'll give him a copy of the video, and initially he's going to come on, and he said he'd do a 2 or 3 hour chat regarding what I would like to structure it around. And I had to ask him to repeat himself. I said, "What did you say there? How long?" I said, "How are you feeling?" He said, "Feeling quite strong." And so So I took him up on it, and yeah, this Saturday, and after that, he said he will be coming back, hopefully, health permitting, and we'll structure conversations and hang out with myself, Andy, and maybe some other guests. If you want to come in, any of you guys in this hangout, you're welcome. Come on to ours, maybe. Bit of a change, I don't know. So yeah, I've done well there. That's because of you, though, Sun and Moon, because I talked to him on here. So I'm not trying to say he's a godlike, ascended like man. He's just somebody that I love and respect through 30 years of teaching and the complexity of what we've come to cognize. And now Andy and I and the family are utilizing. It's because of these men. So they're not extra special. They don't have seniorities. Just a good soul that I can't thank enough.
Time though, isn't he? He's one of the men of the time now, isn't he? Really
incredible mind and a heart and a soul to go with it. And when you see that,
yes, he is seen as an elder of our settlement.
Can I ask you, David, what do you think of Santos's astral theology?
I was amazed to find out that this procession of the zodiac goes backwards. For one, the sine wave and the equatorial explanation, incredible. Resonance, frequency, and oh wow, it's too deep. You think you know it all, and then you go on to something else and go, what's this? What do you mean there's more? Hi.
Can I just do a shout out quickly to Dan Wheeler? Dan Wheeler in the chat room.
I want to shout out to Midnight Gardener.
Yeah, Connor,
Leah,
Morning Star, Leah,
Astral.
Kenny's there.
Do you want me to continue? I haven't finished with the good news, fam.
Go ahead.
So then that's the heavyweight good news, Bumshanker. And then yesterday I went and had a meeting, and an official casual meeting with a brother called Mark. He has a Facebook group called Exposing the Matrix of Lies. He's had that 3 years. He's the founder, like I am, of Sovereign Paralegal. So I went and had a meeting with him. He has a membership account, a family we'd call it, but the group, Facebook group, has 133,000 brothers and sisters in it. He's very busy. Let's put it like that. He's got an admin on every continent, and he's seen Andy and I going around seminars, the conferences that we've just had, and the videos and here hangouts and promotions that we do, publications. We go on my profile. We get about, to be fair, don't we, Andy? We do get about. And yeah, he's seen our stuff, and he said, I'd like to have a chat. He's seen a video that I did recent, asking the universe for 5,000 members, or family members additional to our private trust, and to build it up. He says, I've watched that video, Dave. He sent me a good 3-4 screen lengths deep message about who he is, what he wants, and I'd just like to say that it nearly made me cry with happiness meeting him, and what he has to say. Honestly, I tell you, it's just this truly magical thing that's been done there yesterday, and incredible, to be fair. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed.
Sorry, I forgot to say Charlie. Dan has a son called Charlie, so it was for Charlie. So Charlie. There you go. Sorry, carry on.
Awesome, that David. Awesome.
Hello, Charlie from Indy. I don't know who you are, but I'll say hello. All right. It is awesome, Astral. That's incredible. The man said, look, I've seen the video and want to have a chat. You and Andy, the group, what you're doing, the testimonials that I've seen, the website I've had a look at, what your hangouts. And he says, what can we do? He says, I want to get the message home. I want them to have something, tangible, articulate, something they can, help them out straight away. So Andy and I and the admins are going to put some plans together and go and have a chat tomorrow night, I think about 8 p.m. over there. And then that's just massive. It really is, to be fair. That's a potential, 133.
I was just about to say, did you say it's got like 100,000 stubs or whatever? What did you say? 133,000
members in one family on Facebook. That's how many he's accrued in 3 years, 36 months, and he's got that many soul family,
Well, hopefully you can help each other now, and it can grow. That's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
We only help each other. We've only got each other. We've got each other and our health. All the rest is stuff.
Yep, it's just crap.
Exactly that, brother.
Well, very pleased for you.
Yeah, it's truly.
Not like you worked hard for it, though, is it, David? I know, like you're a little trooper.
Yeah, you can
You know
you can speak.
That's what I did with the little trailer for here. I put like military music on because you're a little trooper.
Well, we're getting back up now. We're getting Sovereign Smith's going to have a channel soon. You'll be pleased to know, and he'll be utilising. Is that still right, Andy? We saying that? Yeah, is that we're getting
Yeah,
your channel?
yeah, we can do. Well, I'm not quite sure how I'd set that up, but with your good nature and help behind me, it's everything's possible, as we know. But I've never thought of it before. You've brought me to the forefront. I'm a private man, but that which I know does bring relief from my belief, and it's only just and right and proper that I share that which I know to bring remedy for others that require it. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it might not be public, it might be private, it might be invite only, who knows? But yeah, we'll get it sorted out, and it's just a great time to be in this. We call it a law renaissance at the moment. We, as you've just said, somewhere on the Americas channels, TV network broadcasting, the Sunday show then is a long-running show, and it's established, and they're now talking about controversial subjects. It's happening everywhere. It really is. Things seem to be speeding up, accelerating, and lots of stuff that wasn't talked about now is.
Zoom, zoom.
Yeah, before you get into your stuff, David, remember I said just before we come on that Flat Earth Dude has also been doing his bit as well, and he went back and talked to the physicist. So do you want to just explain what happened to you over the weekend, Flat Earth Dude?
A couple of weeks ago, we did an interview with a prominent physicist here in California. His name is Spiros Mikalakis. He's a quantum physicist at a university called Caltech, and he wanted to meet some flat earthers. We ran into him at a movie premiere, which he was in, bad mouthing flat earths, but he wanted to meet with us. I don't know. So we got about 4 of us, went out, met him. We live streamed it on Poncho Pete's channel. He liked it so much, we came back for round 2. Now he wants to do an experiment with us, some kind of proof of a globe or flat earth experiment. Not sure what. We still got to work it out in the next few weeks, and we'll see what happens. But it's interesting, you know. It's just a conversation with a physicist. That's all, and nothing too exciting. He lives in a theoretical world, and we live in a reality world. So
I still was really shocked, you know, after listening to the other one. Who else has been talking to a physicist? I can't remember now. It's gone right out of my brain. And they had nothing to say. Like this one they didn't say anything. I couldn't believe he's go through it, under it, round it, turn around, look at it, make an assessment, and you go back, and they didn't say anything.
Right. So I don't know. It's just interesting to hear these guys thinking and hear our thinking, and
probably better to try and do it with them, isn't it? And wouldn't it be great if you could suddenly make him realise that it's
right. That's what we're all working on. But I don't know. I showed him some NASA footage and some of this really fake stuff, and he went, "That's NASA? What? Where'd you get that? Let me see the source." You know, I'm like, "No, that's NASA footage, man. Does that look real?" And then he's like, "No." So I don't know.
To deceive.
To deceive, right? So,
can I just say, I think that's one of the things that we take it so much for granted that we don't even look into it. We don't look at the photos that NASA are showing us, or the images, should say. We just, you quickly glance across it. Yeah, I've seen that. You know, moon landed, but you do not like bling bling. She'll take a magnifying glass, won't she, and look, like proper look.
yeah, I might get to
that. We just glance over things. So that's why, you know, he was surprised when he looked at it and said, "That's NASA," you know, because he probably really looking then.
Right. Well, I made him look, and I had a really big screen there for him to look at it, and yeah, the look on his face was kind of interesting. But you know, who knows? Maybe I'm just reading into it, but he's a tough one to crack, to get him to agree we live on a flat, motionless plane. But We'll keep working him. But it's a group of us flat earthers all helping out.
Because it would be great if a physicist can turn around and say, "Okay, all that theory I've looked into is a load of rubbish."
That would be nice. But probably not, because he makes a lot of money. So that's that. All right. Well, that's kind of where we're at with that. Next couple weeks, we'll find out what's happening. I'll let you know.
Thank you, Flat Earth Dude.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for that. Can I just say there's a sort of message for you, David and Andy. Waking Possum put something in the chat room. Where's it gone? I've just lost it now. Where are you, Waking Possum? They basically have never been in trouble before, and they got a ticket, and the judge gave them a year's probation.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid that's what happens when you get railroaded, when you're in there in the wrong capacity. You're in the incorrect jurisdiction, and that's exactly what happens. They impose themselves on a person, and a person being a body corporate.
We would say that the comparison from here to there is the language. The language is still English, Anglo, and they have legalese, but they have let's think of that word, phallic word now. Is it penal codes? Do they have in Australia, like America? Felony codes? Is it penal and felony codes for the? And you get judged same as what we do, and they're
Yes, yeah, that's the same.
They're called possums. I think they're Australian.
They're called they're called penal codes because it's a penalty, isn't it? Penalty.
Yeah, penal. Phallic. It's all phallic, brother, to do with the obelisks and the like the bowels and the bulls and the bully on.
The penal system, basically, it falls back to the bond. Everyone is bonded, and they ask you for your bond, but they're not realising that they are registered with that bank bond, and that they don't know how to utilise the instrumentation correctly. It's knowing who you are to be able to do that. So
the videos that we've done will translate to America, or our methodology that we use is unilateral for the plane, the realm. Yes, anything but the globe. But it's not a problem. It's just transference of the words, the conversion of what they use compared to what English is. Anglo babble over here. You got your Australian terminology, so you'd have to watch some of our Hangouts chats, or perhaps we can put a link in later if any of the if anybody with a spanner in your family is on, they can put a link in, can't they, for SPL's Pro and Indi Glow, and get them to, we'll do it, and they can roll through the back catalogue, or your Hangouts with me and Andy. If they go through the videos on here on Sun and Moon and then look for us and search, you'll find us, and have a look at them and get back to us.
Yeah, because I like the way I took it before and then I put it out about you, like when we don't realise, even when we're a driver, someone comes knocking at the door. I love that little video of you doing that.
Yeah, a driver is of a commercial capacity, and it's in their realm again. A driver is a shepherd, and they're driving their flock, and it's always in the realm. It's the words, the etymology. You got to bring it back to, like, a driver shall not drive without in accordance with a license. So, if a man is brought to the jurisprudence, which is their theory of the law, then you can say, well, sorry, I've broken one of your rules. Forgive thy trespass. I shall go and get one, because that word in there takes the whole sentence forward. There's nothing there in the moment. And as we know, a person is a body corporate or a persona, an actor. Depends if you want to step up and enact that role.
Yeah, and if that user has let me think, got access to their person's birth certificate. Come on, David, say it right. Then they may be directed by us to look at the bold notice in the bottom that says, warning, this document is not to be used as evidence of identity. Now, I know I sound like I'm being sarcastic, but believe me, I did this too. I didn't know this secret trick until I was at least 41, so 34ish, access to children property about 15, so 2005, so 13 years ago, 41 minus 13, mid-30s. So I did also carry this and think I was the certificate, so I'm not having a go at anybody, because I did it too. Andy's done it, we've all done it, but it does say at the bottom, warning. So the first word is warning, and this this is not to be used as evidence of identity. So that's the disclaimer from the Crown. And if you look at the top of that certification, even though you're on the Commonwealth or the Americas, either way you've been claimed by the Crown of England, then you belong to here, and here belongs to the Vatican, and they've got the crown. And there's three crowns.
That's your chattel number. You're either on the New York or the London Stock Exchange. That's your chattel number right there. That's what you're bonded with.
Right.
Yeah. The monies. It's all about the monies.
Patricia, say hello, Patricia.
Hello,
Patricia.
Hello, my darling. You all right?
Patricia, Patricia, did you say hello, Patricia, as well?
No, I just said hello.
No, it would have been funny that though. And Karen said, "Say hello, Patricia," and you come on and say, "Hello, Patricia."
Hello,
Hello, Patricia.
All right. Good evening.
I'll let you get on with it. Sorry.
No need for apologies.
Anyway, yep. Sorry, carry on. I'm sorry, we've lost the track now, but yeah.
It's all good.
Well,
Then God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven." There you go. Broke it down for you. That's my belief from my little book.
The firmament.
When you look at them, when you go back to Admiralty, which is what the rules are of your person, when you look back at how they used to sail the seas, and when you look back at the old films and you see them get their flat maps out, and they circumnavigate those maps by magnet and by the ball of water that's magnetized, as we know as the globe that they use in there. That's where the idea came from the globe ball lies that has perpetuated our lives ever since. But of my belief, of what I can comprehend and understand, that our domain that we have dominion over is that of a domed shaped earth. I'm not sure if it's completely flat. The water's laid flat. I know that because you can't bend the surface of a water. But that's of my understanding of this, if that's okay for me to say so.
Get in, Andy. Well said, brother.
No bendy water.
It's perfect you said that. Actually, as you said that, Flat Earth dude, sorry, someone in the chat room's called Binky. They spelt bendy water differently. I just thought of you. I'll have to try and find it, take a picture of it.
I'll go back. I'll look.
Is it? Yeah, I can't remember.
Because of the magnetized pull that we have within the plane, it's that magnitude of power that you'll learn through Tesla's teachings of how we, it all is embracing it, as all is storing it, is what they say, isn't it? Power is at its source. It's how you store it, but it's all the magnetized pull. It's how we have our tidal waves. It's how we have the tidal pull, the in and out. It's everything comes back to the magnetism of what is, and that's the divine rule. That's the real law, and that's the laws which me and Dave advocate right here. That's which is literally unwritten by the hand of man. It's that which is just natural, right, and proper.
Amen to that.
Yeah, we have disregard. Well, I'll speak for me, Andy. I think I'll speak for him as well. He can correct me if not. But we've disregarded religion, and we operate on the faith. And the faith that we operate on is a totally new. It's not a new idea, but it's new to man because we've been so blindfolded and misguided, and eating the body of Christ, drinking the blood, and doing whatever we've been doing, and hoping for salvation in some way, and that all these affiliations and places are honourable, and we're finding out that everything we've been told and given is tainted, rotten to the core, and is not what it seems. So we've disregarded, we've had to, everything, and we've gone on our own discovery, haven't we, Andy? And Andy can tell you, I don't know if you want to, but yeah, the synchronicities are very strong. When you think you've got something right and you go, I wonder if I've got that right, but then you get a few little signs along the way. That's the scary part. And then asking for members, I want 5,000 to come to the family by December. 3 days later, message in the handset, hey up, I've got 133,000. What are you saying? I'm like, wow, the universe has heard me and it's answered it, and it's gone here. I raise you. Think you're clever, do you, Dave? I'll raise you. Can you deal with that? And I'm like, what? So go on, Andy, take it away, brother. What are you saying?
That's great.
That's what is it? It's the natural laws. It's the natural laws of attraction. What goes up must come down, up and down. It's yin and yang duality. And what they've taken from us is they've misconstrued and bastardized the language, and they cast the spells. All of our words are spellings, and they turn them into spells and cast them against you. And if you don't know how to dispel or repel what they're casting against you, then you're going to be in trouble. Like our good friend said, you get in bondage, personage, barratry, rape, pillage, and plunder, and it's all from back in the day. It's still the Knights Templars here in the realm today. It's the Roman Empire as a lost empire. They think no, it's fully alive and operational today.
You got, don't forget the deadness, the occult part of it is the necromancy with the what do we do? We summons. You've been summoned. Well,
they summon you. That's why they make you stand up to the gate and they bring you to the dock, and they make you go through the gate of the dock, because the gate is a bar gate and you are entering the bar. It's the BAR of their society. It's their rules. It's their definition of law. And what a jurisprudence is, it's a theory. And they are assumptions and presumptions, their theories, which they are casting upon persons, which they have turned into a business entity. And once you know that you are not that business entity, not that piece of paper, that 2D fiction, the birth certificate, that piece of stationery that's only moved when you move it, once you realise you're not that corporate entity, things get a whole lot easier overnight.
Yeah, and the language and this, like the black side of it, the black's law. What uniform colour do they have? Black. What do the robes colour? Black. And they summon you to appear, and it's all very dark. And go on, Andy, what do you want to say, bro?
Yeah, the black's law, it goes to the hue man, and a hue man, hue is colour, and it goes to the colour of man. And so the colour of man is therefore dealt with the colour of law, and it's assumptions and presumptions that come with it. Until you set straight your status and title and capacity with these individuals, you'll be forever in the wrong. You'll never be able to get off the dictatorship.
Or David, do you think all these people sitting there, like the judge, whoever's helping, do they not understand what they're in at all?
Yeah, they're sworn to secrecy.
Yeah, they're not of our society. They're of another society which they are sworn an oath of allegiance to. They've sworn an oath of allegiance to another world, the crown.
Yeah.
Can I say
and they're
something?
there to protect the crown from us. Sorry, yes, carry on, mate.
Well, this is what I've heard, and I've not heard it just once. I've heard it many times, at least a dozen times. The judge and your representative, regardless of who is representing you, they are sworn together under the same kind of oath, right? So your lawyer,
they're speaking the same language.
His first priority is
the judge, is the bank.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
because
even though he's representing you, his first priority, you're his second priority.
Yeah, what he's actually doing there is representing your birth certificate. He doesn't give a damn about you. What he's trying to do is broker the best deal between himself and the banker to extrapolate every damn penny from the bond, which is your birth certificate. They make out that your best interest and duty of care is there. However, you're probably even dealt with in the morning before you even got there. It's all a show and a charade when you get there. The whole world is a stage, and Shakespeare told us this many moons ago, and that's why they sit up above you to look down on you and all your imposing and these things. And they're wearing all the black because they're dealing with dead fictions, corporate entities. And they've got the lamb's wool on their head because they are literally wolves in sheep's clothing. That they look like they're there to give justice. There's no justice in injustice because they are in the incorrect jurisdiction of the law. They know this, but they are still administrating the forfeitures and fines that they are. And that's what's fraudulent here. And they're out of their jurisdiction. They have no indemnity. They have no insurance to do that which they are doing. If man suffers a harm or a loss or an injury, it's called a tort in law. A man is suffering a tort through tacit agreements. But I'd have to break that down it's quite complicated. It's under disclosure.
Tacit agreement for those in the chat room.
A tacit agreement is whereby if I agreed for David to come and clean my house tomorrow for £20 and we agreed upon that, and when I come home from, say, work, and I found that he hadn't done all the washing and ironing of my laundry as well, and I just decided to give him £15, he could argue that it wasn't, disclosed to him But I could say, well, you didn't read the small print and it's all there and it's tacitly agreed to my £20, you see, but he has suffered a tort along the way. So he's suffered a wrong because he's not had full disclosure of the agreement. It's a tacit agreement.
But if you don't know about these rules and laws, then you go into them agreements and go willy-nilly, not like we all have, and you get sucked in. And then it's only till we separate it all and go, whoa, 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 by your own rules, this is wrong. And we go to them, here, this is your rule book, this is your CPR, and legislation and whatever, if we go public side, and we go, suck on that. Now what you're saying? And they go, oh, preposterous, and we've just had an admin, I can say this, we've just had an admin of SPLs on Facebook have a court success, remedy, win, resolution, discharge, I can't say, but I'll just summarise it as, there's a little bit more news there. With one of the admins messaged me about 4 p.m. saying I've done what I needed to do, Dave, and I've kicked arse, I've sorted it, I've won in court. I'm like, really? You really won in court? And they went, yes, I'll tell you later. There may be a post, Andy, in the group now. We may have a post there from one of the admins letting us know. I said to them, they're going to let everybody know in their own time and write it in their own words. But I can say, we're kicking arse. We really are. We've got this locked down. Remember that film, Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels? And the only thing that was missing from that was a couple of sovereigns, I'm telling thee.
It's all in the language. It's all in the verbiage. It's the verbatim. Simple as that. You need about 50 to 60 keywords. 50 to 60 keywords in a narrative, you'll repel and dispel any claim made against your estate.
Yeah, but you can't just say the key words, can you? You have to know what they're saying to you.
They're very powerful words, brother. They're like unconscionable and subjugation, subrogation. You can put them into one sentence and nail the case. 2 sentences, you've got the case wrapped up. It's as simple as that. It's literally 50 to 60 words, and doesn't matter what the claim is because they're ultimately coming for the same pot, your bond, your bag of gold, and you can dispel them instantly with the same verbatim. But you have to.
You want to read? Can you read us? Can you read us the 50 real quick?
I was about to say,
read them out.
Just print it on your website, put it there on your website.
I'm sure they have.
All print it off and this will count. Here we go.
Well, when I get my own YouTube, that's what I'll bring on there. My own way of dealing with things, and
I like
individuals can take it from there. That's what I'll do. That's from my own successes, from what I've won myself. From what I have done, I only ever speak of what I have done and my wins. Nobody else's, I can't speak for theirs.
Right.
And the way that I've done it and why I've done it, it's my substance over my form, including my form and why and how it came about even. I've done quite a lot. I've took the custody of my children. I've won repossessions of houses. I've done quite a few things in law, so it's all well and good. And I will bring it forward, the small amount of words. I've read one of my notices out before on one of my previous videos to some school when they was trying to impose themselves upon me before I was doing home education, and it's literally less than 50 words, and I had them eating out of my hand, compelled to the absolutely nailed on the head. They had no room for maneuver. It's as simple as that. You've got to know what you're saying and say what you know. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's it. You've done well. You've got a good command of the language and the property. It's not, most think we're weird. It's a weird thing to call your son or daughter property, but we're not being insincere or taking ourselves away.
Property. And the government see us as a chattel, assets and property. When somebody says to you, oh, look at your son is beautiful, as an absolute asset to you, we don't comprehend what's been really said. You better believe as an asset to me. He's my property, he's my asset. And when they ask you to define property, you can say property, that which is proper to me, that's property. And it's exclusive to me within a society of all others for my benefits and my enjoyments from the fruit of my loins, for which I have the only vested interest. And that is which is proper to me, my property. And that's how I lead this forward. That's the language, isn't it? It's not mine, it's theirs. That's what they comprehend. And that's how you take your case forward. You put your suit, you take your case and win the day.
I've got something to say, everyone. Flat Earth, that request you said about the 60 words or 50 words?
Yeah, the 50 words.
Are you familiar with the periodic table that's sung There's like some film somewhere where it goes, you've got aluminum and barium and calcium and
Yeah, I've heard.
you know this. I'm going to put legal words, lawful words to that rhythm over the
Tune,
next
man.
week.
Tune.
DJ challenge accepted.
Good idea.
And then we'll have some fun with it. I'll let you guys have the first preview. While I'm not trying to steal Andy's limelight, I'm just going to put my DJ spin on things and see if I can make an educational 2-minute. I don't know.
You
maybe
can spin it up, brother, and I'll wrap it out. That we'll come together as a couple of old wrinkly fogies and get down on the lino and get the cardboard, and we'll do it.
Words,
and bring some lawful, conscionable behaviour and conduct back to the realm.
All right, I'm just thinking.
It made me feel something different though. If I happen to have to go into court, I look at the judge and go, "Wolf, wolf."
Well, it's exactly there. If the first question to the judge would be, "How many masters do you have?" They serve only one. They have sworn their oath to God. We are there in the eyes of the Creator. We are there in that reflection. We are all equal. No one is above us. No one is above each other. And if you are there with clean hands and in honour, there's not a damn thing that they can do to you, because they're in the incorrect jurisdiction of the law. It's as simple as that. They're in the wrong realm.
What's happening here? Mute that, Andy. Mute that conversation. You're getting the same message as me there. I know. Let's put that on mute for a minute. Right, there we go. All good.
Yeah, but you need to learn. It's just a lot to learn, isn't it? Because we're so programmed.
It's the indoctrination of schooling, I'm afraid, and people are suffering from cognitive dissonance, and through our own acquiescence, we are submitting ourselves to these tacit agreements and suffering the torts that we are. And it's these perpetual states that we've got to get out of our inner state. It's all inner self. Nothing is outside, it's all inside, and it's a lot to take on. It's a lot to believe, but it's the truth. Nothing is out, it's all in. Hate, love, everything is within. Sorry, brother, yeah.
I just want to say something, Andy, that I have this take on things that, we've only been taught things. We've only been told all the time. From the word go, we've been taught and told and told and told, blah, 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 by, first your parents, at school, your bosses, family, friends. Too. We never get our own time. We never get our own. That's why I love meditation, because that's the only time you get your own time. Not that's sleeping. Right. I mean, meditation,
Yeah. Again, with meditation, people say to me, I've been to meditate to find myself and to find love and to search for this and to search for that. And they travel the globe or they travel the plane, whichever one you live on. And
not out there, it's inside. You're right.
Exactly. Everything is within. It's hate, it's love, it's evil, anger. Everything is all within. And until you come to comprehend all is there, and you get yourself all into the perfect alignment, and you're of the correct consciousness vibrating at the right hertz, you're not going to get it, because you have to love thy neighbour, whether you hate him or not. You still have to show the compassion and the empathy and the stuff that you would for your own grandma. And it's the toughest thing to ever do. The toughest thing to ever do.
What I was actually more to be direct on the subject is that we never get our own time. We never get time alone. Like, we're always bombarded by everything. I mean, right now we're being bombarded by
energy leeches,
conversation, and okay, it's good. It's a good vibe like we've got here. That's why we're here. But what I mean is that we're always busy with something. Absolutely. If we're not busy with, talking to someone, we're busy like reading something, or we're busy maybe writing something, or
always too busy for ourselves,
listening to something.
We're always helping somebody else and not ourselves. And to know yourself, and when I'm advocating to love yourself, I don't mean walking past Dorothy Perkins' window and looking at yourself every 10 minutes in vanity. I mean, to love yourself is to be kind to yourself.
But you can only help other people if you know yourself, really, can't you? Because if you don't know who you are and what's going on, how can you help anybody else?
Exactly that. If you can't decorate your own living room, you can't do your neighbours. So this is how it goes on. You've got to get your own house in order. You've got to know whom you are. That's what it's all about. You've got to love yourself, care for yourself, because no one else can love or care for you if you can't do it for yourself either. Because what you inwardly manifest outwardly attracts. And if you're down in the dumps and thinking that you're a knob and stuff, that's what attracts you. You'll end up surrounded by knobs. And that's the laws of attraction. That's not my rule or anybody's rule. It's just the law. It's the real law. And we've got to have ourselves of a higher vibrating consciousness of a happy realm. It's very, very difficult with the imposition the oppression of this dictatorship right now. But if you can just get yourself to the correct level of consciousness whereby you can understand what's going on here in the realm, the rules and the laws of what the chess game or the drafts game that they're playing, it's really quite easy. It seems daunting at first because of the legalese language, which has bastardized all that we know. We don't need none of their big words. We don't need none of their big language. There's no law that states we must be able to read or understand or comprehend their language, so they must speak ours, that of the layman. So unless you have done a wrong, unless you have dirty hands and you're not in honour, you've got nothing to worry about. Debt is fake. There is no money. 1931 removed the Gold Standard Act from the money, so debt is fake. So we've got people committing suicide, losing lives. There's mums and dads leaving children behind because of a fake debt perpetual system that has no substance to the backing of it. Nothing, no, nothing. The only thing that's worth anything of our realm is merely the Queen's stamp that you send along the King's Highway for our correspondence. There is nothing else of any intrinsic value of the realm. So it makes me sick to the pit of my stomach that man is losing life through a system of fiction. And we've got to bring it to the forefront that it's all a fictional belief system. And we've got to bring the belief back to the correct jurisdiction of man and not that of a person watching live vision, stuffing drugs and drink down their throat to try and hide themselves away from the thing that they don't know about.
Yeah, here. Yeah, very nicely put, Andy. He's very good with his words, aren't you, Andy?
Well, when you're in these situations and you're having to defend yourself against these self-given authoritarians, or you're defending your next of kin or your family or your friend or dear loved ones, you do it with passion. And we're not to let the emotion of the mind, the oil, override the passion of the heart, which is the water. Much like a car engine, you mix the oil and the water, you'll blow a head gasket. So much like caring for yourself, we're all too rushing, like your man says. We haven't got time for ourselves, but it's essential that we make the time to take the time for ourselves and just sit a moment. We're all too rushing very fast for the answers. We talk 100 miles per hour and we're not giving ourselves or whom we're talking to just and fair opportunity to speak what we really feel, because we're getting so et up, emotional, anxious in the mind, and that anxiety for the future, or speaking of the depression of the past, the memory is only ruining the now, and they prey on that. They're hoping to stumble you over in the now with their bastardized, legalized language. And if you can keep yourself calm, breathe as you should do, and it's all about self-awareness. Be aware of yourself and be aware of those around you, and you'll be able to just flow your knowledge off the tongue. Passive knowledge always wins the day, and I've always had a success with that demeanor.
Yeah, we will help out enforce that bit. He does roll off his tongue very easily and smoothly. I'm not looking at the chat room tonight. I haven't got that on, but I can hear some of the thoughts, or of the viewers, and saying it's all very well and good, but don't worry, we have got there are many places for your family subscribers to go. You don't have to go to the this channel and the videos, or we have got one, SPL's Pro, that I said earlier, that will help out immeasurably and make what Andy's saying slip into place. And you can obviously listen to this video back and make your own summarization and get what you have to do. It doesn't matter how many times we tell you, the penny has to drop in your own minds. This isn't something that we can give to you and tell you and get you trained up for. We can, but it has to click. And if it never clicks, then that's a big barrier, because 50% of what Andy's implying here in the remedy is actually knowing you and who you are. And who is you? Who is you, Andy? We had this other day. Wow.
Well, I wish to say that you are you, brother, for I am I.
Yeah, this is it. It's who, and to have that immediate response, because the brain is very complex, but it's very simple. To program the brain, if you repeat something 13 to 20 times, it's effectively now in you and programmed in some way into your subconscious. And we're very simple. So it may sound hard at first, but it isn't. It's 6 months of a simple, tailored, structured environment would let you immediately lose the fear well, within a week, you'd lose the fear and then find security, safety. And then towards the end, you know, that your own kind of, you know, remedy and who you are is how you would progress. You know, you need to know that.
Fear. For each a role. Face everything and rule.
Yeah, nice acronyms of that. Yeah, fear is love and fear, two main emotions from the human body. This is what's good
For
about
every man a religion.
You brilliant tune. It's ace, mate. It's all there.
Yeah,
I
know that.
Fear
Yeah.
is a fiction. Fear
What's
is a
it
fiction.
called?
It's a belief.
What's it called? Ian Brown. Ian Brown.
Yeah, that's it. Uncle Ian Brown or something. Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
an emotion. Fear is an emotion. It's our gut instinct, fight and flight, and they know what they're doing. When they
Yeah.
send these big Barry red letters, they're all stated out in big writing and big bold red boxes round it and very threatening and imposing and whatnot like this. It's all there to mess with your head. None
Yeah.
of it means anything. It's even addressed incorrectly.
Psychological warfare in a way. These documents and letters
trespassing upon you. It's
companies
trespassing.
use are the documents and things that these guys use are actually drafted up by like psychiatric
Psychologists
experts.
and stuff like that. Exactly. You'll have it come in big uppercase writing. This note, we are coming to fetch your possession. The uppercase is dog Latin language. It's sign language. Please show me the law that states I must read sign language. There's no such law. Please take it away. You are parked in my Tesco's car park. Did you not see the signs? Yes, I've seen the signs, but bring forth the law that states I must read sign language. I'm illiterate. They cannot touch you.
Oh, well, you've agreed tacitly, though, because you was in there, and so therefore, by being there, you're guilty.
You've agreed tacitly, you see. That's what it all comes down to. But you've then been suffered the tort of fine and forfeiture, and man shall not license another for fine nor forfeiture. Please bring it to a court to say so in front of the correct jurisprudence. You will not see them.
Sorry, but we're not only going to pursue our claim.
There's not a man making the... Please bring forth the man making the claim, and I will give you an instant remedy. Please bring forth the victim.
It's easy, guys. It's not, you know, we try to have a laugh with it as well. What Andy does and what I do, you can laugh at me and you can laugh with me. Mostly you laugh with Andy, but sometimes at him. He does put on a show now and again if you're lucky. So, you know, we do break it up, don't we, Andy? We need to remember that this is like the flat earth and the realm and the lies and the deception and the cancer and everything we're facing here. It's not a pleasant subject, is it? It's quite somber.
Oh, the 1939 Cancer Act. Why would that be? Why would these researchers be running now these charities for over 100 years? And we know what the remedy is, and so do they. But however, we'll keep plunging into the system, and we'll put these acts and statutes here, barring any man from mentioning any type of remedy. For if they do, they shall be imprisoned. So what would that be all about?
Yeah, search the Cancer Act on any search engine and have a look for yourselves. Don't just, you know, have a go. It's like, hang on a minute. Would we create a government that would do that to, you know, I don't think we agree with that, any of us. And, you know, what the games are afoot here, there's many and various, you know, and we thank you for doing the job that you guys do, because we can't do this job that you're doing. And believe me, I'd love to be doing it. But unfortunately, I've ended up on this sacred contract. So that's why we're here today, to balance it out in a way, in effect, give and take, you know.
Well, in my mind, we're of the plane. We live on the plateau, so we're in the right place anyway.
Well said.
The universal natural law. It is what is, and what shall be, shall be. We can't change it. We can only dwell upon it and hope for the best and have faith that all good shall come.
Beautiful, brother, beautiful.
They're not expecting people like you at court, then, are they?
Well, the last time I was at court, I can assure you today, and I can give you verification that the man in the black got up and run off.
Did he bow? Did he bow to you?
He bowed on the way in and scurriedly ducked his head whilst I seen his back. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Wow, that's awesome. That must have felt good, man. Woo!
It is what it is, and it's without saying a word. It's in the letter. You've got to put it in you got to put pen to paper. If you stand there uttering, which is what it is, uttering, they have no obligation to see nor hear you. They are of the wrong realm, the wrong jurisdiction, like right. I say earlier. You have to do it all in letter form, through correspondence. It's just right and proper, and that way it's evidentially fact. And you know, the legal fiction which our representative, Mr. John Doe, cannot put the pen to the paper, so therefore they have to adhere to that which is authorised by the author, which is the hand of man. And that set law, which is there facing the judicial bench that day, shall set them in their correct jurisdiction and of the trustee position within the relationship of the trust, which they truly behold, and not that of the beneficiary, which they try to subjugate through subjugation.
Wow.
Any
And
further
what-
questions, Your Honour?
Yeah, what does well, I was going to say it. I can't say it now. What was that last?
Subjugation. Subjugation is bullying. If I intimidate you and I bully you along into my way of thinking, I'm subjugating you. Or the other one is subrogation. Or if I'm here subrogating you, I'm impersonating you. So in a trust relationship where you have the trustee and the beneficiary, if I, the trustee, am impersonating the beneficiary, pretending to be the one that gains all the benefit from it all, I am subrogating. And it's unlawful action. It's unconscionable in the realms of trust and equity. So these actions must be picked up on and dealt with in the first instance, and that on its own will correct the jurisdiction of the law which you are in.
They've changed the law quite badly, though. They did it a few years ago. They decided to use the, you know, like with many immigrants coming in and slavery. And
That's not the law, though. That what they portray to be the law is the force of law. It's legislation. It's legislative, and it's acts and statutes, and it's their rule for their society of the BAR. And all acts and statutes have the full force of law with consent of the governed. And to think that these are bringing in enslaved, we are all enslaved through the birth certificate
There's nothing
system.
to do with slavery in there. What they did was they put in there this bit about you can't help anybody, and if you do, so if I ask you to help me, I could actually go to the police because you asked me to help you.
Well,
And
back in the day, when the black men and things were slaves, it was illegal. So all they've basically done through the state is turned slavery legal. We can now have legal slaves. We are all legally enslaved. That's what the birth certificate is.
Mm.
Man isn't. The bond is it. The person.
Back to the
You are
person.
enslaved. Yes, you are enslaved through the personage.
But the thing is, though, whatever they were talking about, it wasn't about immigrants coming here, about education, housing, money, schooling. It was nothing to do with that. Just about you can't help anybody. You can't ask for favours. And
It's terrible. It's disgusting. I even hate the word immigrant. Man and woman is trying to come to this landmass. There should be no border. There should be no fraction lines divide. There should be none of these things. There should be no religion. However, there is. And all as we've learnt is the rules, the language, and the perpetual bullshit that they put upon us through that. And I'm just here to try and bring that to the forefront of how they're doing it. And it's all in the words, the spells, swords. You know, words are swords. Put the S back to front. It's words are swords, and the pen is mightier than the sword. It's as simple as that.
Messed up, man. It's messed up.
May I interject? I've got some words I'd like to say if I could have about 3 minutes with you. Leading on eloquently, as Andy didn't know this, he just said about the spells then and what swords and words. Yes, the pen, indeed, brothers, is indeed mightier than the sword. When we do notices, Andy, we do them in red, don't we, at a 45 degree angle. What happened there? Sorry, degree angle.
If you say so, lad.
Easy for me to say.
Oh, yeah. Say it, don't spray it.
40 sausages. Right, notices, red pen, 45 degree angle signifies drawing of the sword, you know, left to right across the page.
45 degree angle across your thumbprint in red. You don't sign. If you sign it, it's for money. Otherwise, you autograph it. It depends what if you're in the commercial realm or if you're acting in private. If you go to Arnold Schwarzenegger and you ask him for an autograph, you would expect him to put it as Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you ask him for a signature, he may put it as the Terminator because that's his commercial side. That's where he earns his money from right there. It depends on whom you're asking to do what, to know whom and what you are in which jurisdiction of the realm.
Wow. But I'd just like to say about the spirits and the spells then, the dark arts were regarded as the summoning of spirits. And I touched upon it earlier, but it's like I wanted to continue because I didn't get quite through it. The possession and it ties in with alchemy and like talismanic, which ties in with money and the money magic, which links on to voodoo, and then with what Andy's linking on here with the spell casting and stuff is kind of necromancy. And when I say that, I don't say that with a light heart. The dark arts are indeed such as like the Crowleys, and there's things that have gone past and what they've done.
The hand behind the cloth, brother.
So yeah, and the robes they wear are indeed dark. As we've said, the book is the Black Law book. Summoning of spirits, regarding possession, using alchemy and these kind of things. So summon, it's an old French word, I believe. Thank you, Chiron last. I'm going to kiss you one day if I ever meet you.
Summoned. Yes, I summoned you.
So I'll continue. Old French, and it's SUMUNDRE, as in Dre, summundre, summon, to call, to cite, hint to, authoritative, call to be at a certain place for a certain purpose. And it's from SUB, sub, under, and money, which is MONERE, monere, warn, and advise. So I'll continue on for those that are interested. Conjure. It is a command on oath, invoke, to swear together, conspire, bind with an oath. In a magical sense, constraining by spell, a demon to do one's bidding. Oh, okay. So what's a conjuration or a conjurer or a jury, all these words.
Conduit. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So the best way to exemplify the complicated rituals of the conjuration and regarding summoning of spirits, all rise, is to reproduce, sorry, I shouted, excerpts from the medieval grimoires, which give detailed, I got into character, with a detailed instruction on constraining spirits, both demonic and angelic. We will also provide information on their ranks, sigils, or seals, and general characteristics. Some of this has come from Brother Bonacci, I don't mind saying.
All of it is militant. All of the church, it's all militant, and that's why you got the bishops and archbishops. It's just their ranks within their realm.
Hold up, reel it in a minute. I'm on a roll here. Just let me, because I'll forget and it'll go.
Oh, then, sweetheart, where you go?
The magic words, the sigil. What is a sigil? That's got the sigil, SIGIL. Signature has the sig in it. A sigil is an inscribed or painted symbol of some kind, considered to have some ancient historical magical power, an occult device supposed to have great power, ideally from about the mid-1600s. A seal, an abbreviated sign or occult stamp, a mark or sign, and it comes from a Latin word, sigillium, meaning sign. A seal is a device or substance that is used to join two things together. So
we have joined her.
So as yes, brother. So as to prevent them from coming apart or to prevent anything passing between them.
Bonded. You are bonded, baby.
Can I ask you something then? Is this why they needed Henry VIII? Because everything changed with him, didn't it? You know, he broke away, brought like the Protestants.
Henry VIII done us no favours.
So you see, before you go into Henry VIII, do you see about the magic words and how they're tied in there in signature, talisman? If you look for the dollar sign, right, it's an S with two lines through it. That's symbolising a snake around a coil, and the talisman and paper money that we've said it isn't backed by anything. It's got magical powers that we give it. You know,
and back in the day, in the 80s, you've seen these hairy ass men.
In God we trust. Don't make me laugh. God, money? I don't think so. Do you, fam? I yield.
That's right, mate. And those men with the hairy chests and their shirts dangling open with those medallions hanging down, what were they? SOS talisman. Oh, hello.
Don't forget the dog tags of the army. You're just dog grunts. Have your dog tags and catch your bullets. Shh.
It's how it is, brother. It's all there with that. They pass it off to be like a the folk or the flock come buy into it thinking it's a new trend and a new thing, but no, they're being laughed at. Absolutely.
Let's not forget about the flags as well. Most of the flags of the world,
flags are maritime
with a cross upon them, you know,
and
double crosses. A lot of the double crosses on most of the flags. Church crosses with double crosses. Cross of Lorraine, double crossed. We've all been double crossed all over the place.
Astral, I want to say this before I forget. Sorry to butt in and be rude. You know when the religious man does the cross on the body, and you go forehead, chest, left chest, right chest. Is it that movement that you do to bless thyself? Yeah, if you was that way inclined. Okay. Do you know what I mean? When you take your hand and you go forehead, middle of chest, left
Yeah,
of chest.
it's that northeast, southwest, isn't it?
Yeah, right. You know that. Everybody else, listen, follow. So where do you go? You go forehead. So that's the top of the cross you're making, okay? And you go down to the mid-chest section. Then you go left boobie, right boobie, nipple boobie, man, woman, will go to, you know. So therefore, that crosses, and think about it. What's that shape? From your forehead to the middle of your chest. And then just up from the middle of your chest is your nipples, your boobies, your mammary glands, my favorite of all of the glands. Moving on, that cross is an upside down cross, what you've just formed there on your body. Why would man bless himself with an upside down cross? Hey?
The cross of fiction or the crucifixion, what do you want to see it as?
Look at that. Upside down, forehead, chest, nipple, nipple. That's not the right way round cross. That's the upside down one they're using demonic films, by the way.
And they also use two sayings. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, or you're going to go for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Do you think they're the same?
I think I need to see a lot more Santos Bonacci after this evening.
No, he's an edge. He's not just Santos, though. This Max Eigen, and well, I've listened to. How many speakers have you listened to, Andy? If you had to count them. Wow, 50, 100, 200, 500.
Yeah, I've listened to many. I've read many books. I've read many Bibles. I've comprehended and understood many things. But all as I've tried to get out of it is how to sail on these high seas and how to get folk out of perpetual debt systems where they're losing their stuff and they're getting fines and forfeited left, right, and centre, foreclosure on their property, getting their children taken away from them for things that people are projecting in the future. People are having these imaginations whereby there may be some risk in the future, so let's take these children away, and it's absolutely barbaric what's going on. My offspring have a future risk. They may run out to the road and get run over, but I haven't had them took off me. And it's these horrible legislative rules and regulations that they're imposing on folk that I just wish to bring forward and help them understand and comprehend how to dispel them and repel them when they're in dire need at the end of their edges and they don't know whom to turn to. You're not going to get any legal advice. You're not going to get any citizens' advice. You're not going to get anything that's lawful. You're only going to get something that's going to be of no use to you at all, only to fill their pockets by you giving them a signature through acquiescence to help themselves through your banking bond, which is a birth certificate. It all boils back down to money. It's a horrible, horrible, evil system. Money itself isn't evil. It's the greed for it.
You got the snake, usury, serpentry, usury, usurping, you know, usury, biblical. What does it say in the Bible about usury alone, about the interest, about charging an interest and look what they've done to you. They'll throw you out on the street. Man will throw you out on the street. You can't pay your rent and he'll charge you interest and he'll see you and it's like, whoa, what have we done to ourselves?
Well, look on the side of every NHS ambulance, you'll see a serpent there in their design and in their logo. It's all there in your face. They are serpentine and they are usurping all of your energy, whether it be through your slave labour, your sweat equity, or fines and forfeiture. One way or another, they're going to have your ounce of flesh off you, that's for sure.
But Astral, what you said about needing to listen to more Santos, yes, I want to just loop back to that. I did say, because I need your family and you lot to know that, you know, I've mentioned a few names who influenced me, and amongst the months and years I've done this, Andy's quite relatively a fresh splash onto the scene of this. So I wanted you lot to know that it's not just about one. I'm not putting Santos down because you lot know I love him. I'm having him on Saturday, and there is a video he's done that I do now fully cognise about trust and equity, and he talks. It's about 10 years ago, and he's got his whiteboard up, and he's going on about the judge and the clerk of the court being the actual trustee, and you know, it not being us. And I didn't want that to come out the wrong way. It's just that Andy's looked at it a lot more, you know, and so he has Santos as well. But Santos, in 30 years, that man's covered everything. That's why I pay homage to him, because I can stay on his channel for 2 weeks and still not have, you know, got my fill. And when when I was, 10 months ago, 18 months ago. But now it's time to repay him, and Andy has his own unique way. There's not many that speak like this man or cognize he's done it, he's applied it in reality, he's actually done it. I'm not at liberty to say, but he's released, privately in our trust and on various chats with you what he's done and how he's applied it. So whilst others may be thinking, who's this guy? Why is he speaking? How dare he read from the book and, claim to be all up on high and stuff? No, he's just an everyday man that I've found and bumped into and grown to love and, become the right-hand man and a governor. And he's kicking arse. You're kicking arse, brother. Is a credit to him is all I can say.
I've had quite a few hangouts with him in the past, and
he's done well.
His hangouts might have been 5-6 hours long. Oh, dear me. Yeah, we love Santos. And Martin in the chat room, we love him too. He's another one of my favourites.
Yeah, top guy.
Plus, I've met Martin. He's lovely.
I like Santos for his astral theology. It's that part of, and synchronicity, the way that he links things together. So, it's like beautiful. It's poetry when you look what he does,
It's magnetic. He says to me,
I still look at his stuff. I still do. I mean, did I watch something today? I did probably. Yeah, I did. But it's just, you can learn so much. I mean, even like old stuff that he's done, you can still learn a lot from it, and he even makes mistakes, and you see that, but I love him. He just everyone ought to have at least, 1 week listening to Santos, and then they would understand absolutely so much.
Yeah,
the world would be a better place, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
People
a mistake
are
is an honest attempt, I say, mate. It's not a negative thing. As long as we can all keep having honest attempts. If we make mistakes along the way, it's lovely. Keep making them. As long as you learn from it, move forward, keep doing the same thing. Don't lay down and be told what to do. Keep moving forward. If you make an honest mistake, no problem. Learn from it. It's ace.
It's not illegal, is it, or unlawful to make a mistake? And we quite often have to redact or amend what we've done, previously. And, we've met people and they've said, brothers and sisters have said, I've done this, I'm here, what should we do? And then we've had to go and say, you need to correct that, reverse that, and redo. And it doesn't mean that you're guilty if you've made a mistake, because everybody's entitled to do that. It's just that when you're doing this system, they make sure they hold you to it an account, and you really do pay for it. And that's where paying your debt to society comes in again, you see. And it's Santos has a unique way of putting these things, and he does it from the heart, and he's done that many videos and stuff. The synchronicity, Astral, he asked me my star sign, and I told him, and we're talking about that, and he said, my son's called David. He says, I like that name. He says, good synchronicity. And I was like, oh, nice one, brilliant. Yeah, it is a good name. You like that?
Santos mentioned once that the day you're born and the time you're born, and it's all relevant to your name and the person you are, and blah, 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 And I've looked into this, right? And seriously, it is 100%, and it's without a shadow of a doubt, there's no trying to convince me. I know about this.
That's right.
But it's me trying to tell other people, look into the stars and understand like what the stars mean.
Synchronicity.
They're not just a little twinkling thing up in the sky.
No.
They mean more than that, much more than that.
You believe me or you don't you? But nonetheless, the laws of nature will act without you.
They don't know that. A lot of people might not realise that Santos is also an activist. He'll stand outside courts, and people are filming him while he's telling you the way it is. And a lot of people don't realise that he's actually a really sensitive person. He just doesn't sort of put that persona out, but he really is.
1997 to 1999, I would do that type of thing too. But I was an advocate of Fathers for Justice right here on the Anglo landmass, and that was around charging the honourable owner and titleship of my property. And yes, absolutely, I advocate all those types of causes so long as they are in good intent and goodwill without any perpetrators.
And obviously he's understood so much and put it all together, hasn't he?
Yeah, it was easy for me to cognise and understand in other ways that, you know, like Jordan Maxwell gets a bit coffee and and he gets a bit deep in that, and you've got like Romley that's he's good, but he's does so many. You're like, Romley, you've done 500 videos, bruv. Which ones do I need to watch? I did so many, and you're like, you go through the titles, and you know, Santos, it's like, I don't know, the titles are always exactly as they say. The fact that when he asked about my sign, and we was talking about Tauruses, and I won't reveal it all because it was private and it's special to me, but some bits of it was him that said, "Oh, you're a son of May then," and I was like, "A son of May, a Mason, okay, Mason, son of," and I didn't think of it like that, and I'm etymology man, so that's why I came out a few days later on YouTube and goes, "Yes, it's true, I am a Mason," and I had a little play with it, and I just want to reiterate, I am not. It was just a play on words, because, you know, I might get kickback from it, but no, it was just, you know, I'm not saying seriously. It's just really funny that when he said, "Oh, you're a son of May," I went, "Son of May," and then it just clicked then, and I went, Mason, son May, Maypole, and words go round, and yeah, it's you see, just interesting how others have a different perspective on things. His perspective, yeah, is very simple and very passionate, and people say I'm passionate. John Harris was passionate. Andy's passionate, but he's controlled. You know, I'm just a bit too giddy sometimes, and that's what others see, don't they? You can't fake that shit. It's, you know.
No, such as my inner engineer, and I've just learned to be able to control my passion and my emotion. I don't let the pair mix unless it's really close, like family realm. If it's my children you're messing with or something, my emotion may then overtake my passion, and things can get hair-rated. But otherwise, I do try and stay neutral and keep them separate, and that's how to win the day. Know what's what. Know your positive heart is against your negative mind. Your negative mind will always tell you your bum looks fat in that dress, but you listen to your heart and it tells you just look fine, and away you go, lovely jubbly.
So asking you, what is the main thing that you're going to talk to Santos yourself about on Saturday then?
Well,
what part are you going with on Saturday?
Just introduction, and just to say how where the influence come from. I needed help with, as many of us do, but I especially with the Unum Sanctum and dates and times and numbers. You do get them mixed up. It's not for us. This isn't our realm. They're not our documents or declarations or paper proclamations, or, you know, it is, we struggle. I don't find this easy. I used to be a DJ. I like numbers and frequencies and crazy stuff like that. I don't like law publications, dyslexic, ADHD. You know, Andy doesn't find it easy to study. He's told me we both fell asleep at keyboards at idiot o'clock in the morning. So it's just an introduction on that, and the passage of knowledge and information that's you know, cognizable. And it's just incredible. You know, one man can stand there like that and go on about history and lineage and bloods and crests and kings and battles and proclamations. And then when I've gone and looked at it, 99.9% is bang on. I'm like, how can one man stand and do that? When I watch Know Thyself, I don't mind telling you, I was a bit suicidal, depressed, in a bad place. It was a long time ago. And I thought, 8 hours and 25 minutes, let's have it. When I watched that, I think I don't think I spoke for about a day. I was just absorbing still, and I was like, who is this man? I've never heard of him before, you know, and in a bad place, and I got immersed in stuff, and it took my mind off the negativity of the court case with my blood and lineage. But of course, getting that knowledge before you know who you are, what the language is, it just baffles you. You're interested, and you're like, this man's on it, but you're like, what is this? And we will come in now, as I said to Santos, and he did say he'd had some issues in a court and they weren't too successful, and that might be why I asked him about, you know, his interest in that sovereignty and where we're going, and he's like, yeah, we'll talk about that. I'm like, listen, you've given us so much. I'd be honoured to, or we would be honoured, our family, you know, to give back to you, so you can now take the bits that we've learned, you know, and then the bits we've learned from you, and we'll give that back to you from the UK, Anglo brothers, and it will drop in. And when it drops in, yeah, that'll be it. He'll be there. So it's incredible. We'll just go slowly. I'll have no coffee, and yeah, just go with the flow.
I wish I'd have known then, Dave, that that man was available, because that which, as you well know, that which I've come to my knowledge and my beliefs is all through reading the Bibles. And all what I know and learnt is through what I've done there. And I've never had a computer I'm not computer literate, everybody. I've never owned a computer. I wouldn't know how to work one. And Dave has luckily hooked me up onto this platform. I just on my mobile phone. So I wish I'd have known that was there, and I'd have, used that platform for my early knowledge. I've only come to him recently, so it would have saved me a long time.
I'm yielding. I'm going to go quiet for a bit. I'm tired here. You got chat.
Well, sovereignty is spoken of in the King James Version of the Bible, and so is the laws of equity, and it all derives back to the laws of man, the natural law, the plane of which we are dwelt upon, as set laws in our own little settlements. And once you've comprehended the biblical text, the manuscript, the script this is written for man, it will separate the jurisdiction of the law from man and the person. It will tell you not to step over the border into the Canaan, and it's the Canaan and the cabal of the Roman Empire that is ruling to us today, to the person imposing themselves. And once you know how to recognize these gatekeepers within the realm, you'll be able to dispel them instantly with just a few words from your own lips and tongue. It's very, very nice.
So I was eating a packet of crisps listening.
I've spoken to authoritarians on the phone, and I've got it recorded. They've actually said to me, "It sounds like you're reading from a script there, Mr. Andy." I'm like, "Well, I suppose it would do from a belligerent fool of yourself ruling such an empire. Let me assure you, there's no script here. And when I come to see you tomorrow in persona and compel you to your duty, you will see that I have no script. Please don't take me for some kind of a fool, because I'm just that of an idiot. Don't get misconstrued because I live in an authority church housing complex association. Don't think that I'm just a fool myself. I'm only a skip lorry driver. Don't proclaim to be anything or anybody. But what I do know is the rule of their society, and I do know how they impose it upon a person. So please don't take that lightly. Otherwise, I'm more than likely going to take your private house off you. So be very careful how you talk to me. And in those instances, their said claims go away instantly."
Oh, he threatened my country retreat, Edith. My country retreat. We couldn't have that.
It's called commercial lien. If anybody does you a wrong in society, if you've been suffered a wrong, you can enforce what's called a commercial lien, and it's there to put right the wrongs in common law. And you can.
Do solicitors also do this code the same as the judges?
The solicitors are in there with the judges. They're of their own society, separate to ours. They complain, we claim. They're of a different jurisdiction. They deal with persons, dead fiction, corporate entity. A corporation can't bring a man to court. It has to be another man.
So they know what's going on then, don't they?
Yes, of course they know. And that's why they run out the courts, because they don't have the jurisdiction to speak to you. You are king. You are as king of the court. That's my court. I've paid for it. I'm paying their wages. They're not there for free today.
The law society.
I'm not there for free today either. I have a fee schedule as well as they do. So when you entered the fee schedule along with your terms and conditions, they do exactly that. They're up and on their feet. Thank you very much. We can't deal with this one. Goodbye.
Yeah, they're called the Law Society. You're right. They have got rules for the society, the police, the judges, the barristers, the solicitors, the duty solicitor they give you, all of them.
The society that I truly know of, it's the BAR Law Society, and they class us as being of another society. Well, if that's true, what's the name of our society, please? I've never heard of the name of our society. Well, I don't believe we're of a society.
There was a tune about a society, wasn't there, or something? Wasn't there a TV show? Something society, 70s, 80s?
We're just a togetherness. We're a vibration. We're a vibrational consciousness. And once we all can get to the same level of consciousness and step out of the cognitive dissonance that we've been indoctrinated into believing is the truth, well, then if you have an open eyes and an open heart and an open mind, well, then you're going to go places. And until such a time, there's people that don't know that they don't know.
David.
It's very difficult between the vaccinating and the chemicals in the water, the chemicals in the sky, everything that's going on right now. We're under attack left, right and centre, 5G. It's just barbaric.
Sorry to interrupt you, Andy.
No, you're not interrupting me, pal, sorry.
David, that song you're thinking about society, it's not, this is a self-preservation society. Is it? That's
Go on.
from the Italian Job, that film.
There we go. Well done, brother. Get in, my Sam. 10 golden sovereigns to you, brother.
All right, I'm glad it was that one anyway, not something different.
You see, but they class of us as society like a flock. We're a building society. What type of a society are we? You see, it's just all these word plays that we're receiving and taking it on board and thinking it's proper and true.
We've got mixed up with the legal. There's a legal construct out there for us to interface with. And once upon a time, we was taught about this and it all was good. And then all of a sudden, we've become confused and lack of education, prosperity, security. Bullshit, Teresa. You know, she's looking after the people of the United Kingdom. They're all our certificates. And the United Kingdom is a fictional trust. So she's working for the elite and the bankers. And there's no doubt about that. There's nobody in persona for the man in equitable remedy or anything. Grenfell, all of it. It's a sham. We'll never get justice with any of it. Nobody ever goes to prison because we're combatants. We are the fodder, the chattel. And I'm sorry to say it, but that's where me and Andy are going to come in and give it and say, no, we're not. We're not actually.
No.
Things, the creator, the highest on high, you know. Wow, it's just absolutely amazing.
Where is the UK? I hear the UK a lot, and they're not understanding that the UK is a corporate entity. It's a business name. McDonald's or Quick Fit or anywhere else, it's just a corporate entity. It is the UK that is being occupied. And if you think you're an occupier of a house, an occupier is to be there by militant force, so you're not the occupier. And the UK is currently being occupied by London City PLC, which is another corporation. And it is through that ruling right there that we are in the militant combatant state. And we have the militia on the streets that they call police carrying guns because we are currently under a martial law setup. They will deny that to you, but that's the jurisprudence they're in at the moment. Otherwise, the man wouldn't be carrying gun because they don't have the jurisdiction to do so. But that's where the state of affairs at the moment, the inner state, the perpetual state, and that's the state that they wish to have us into while they're wiping out 90% of the population through their agenda.
No, the general public, don't forget to give us the correct military term. They're wiping out the generals, the general publics. But what we're going to do, everyone, is take you back to when you're 21. You're going to get that card out the bin and you're going to take that key and you're going to use it to, use your thumbprints, your autograph and start discharging the charges that are brought against you when you put in the cell, the battery, the cell, the charges, discharges. You know what I mean? It's like, hang on a minute, the currency, what your currency are you going to discharge your charges with while you're in the cell? What you doing talking to me in languages of electric for? What's going on? You know what I mean? They've got it's
what do you have at the windows in the cell? Bars. Oh, who's put you there? The bar. Oh, hello. What do you call the sleep bar?
And there's a crowd.
Hello, flock bar.
Yes, brother. Santos did say in one of his videos, bless him to be, because this is golden. You don't find this around the internet. He said, and when the crown was lost by X, I'm going to let you do the research, fam, because I'm good like that. He says it was given to the Bar of London. I'm like, what, who, where? Hang on, back it up, rewind that video. What do you say, Santos? And when X lost the crown, the one of the crowns, there's three, was given to the Bar of London. I went, oh, that makes all the sense now, and I see why they're the Crown Prosecution Service and how come they've got all the power, because they've got the crown. But there's a Queen Elizabeth, and she's got a crown, David. Yes, she has. And there's more than there's three, and it's like, what? They're acting these trusts that Santos eloquently explained. And I went, bondage, trust, crowns, and it links in, but it is deep. Very clever.
Business. We're all business entities. And
this is the Roman shit that Andy was on about before when he said Rome wasn't built in a day. It's carrying on. And these popes, if you look back in history, man's written stuff about these popes and they've not all been good. Let me leave it at that. No, they haven't. They've been quite bad, these popes. Very bad. Very, very bad. Yeah.
All businesses here on the Anglo landmass must be registered at Duns and Bradstreet. That's how it goes. And they'll put it in the British Isles, the UK. But ultimately, all to register is to give away. And who owns Duns and Bradstreet of this realm? That's right, the bar. That's how it is. The Federal Reserve, the perpetual debt system, it's a religious empire. It's down as a religious movement. You got to look into these things and see whom owns what, and then you'll see whom is making the claim to own your ass.
I'm supposed to be yielding, but I can't keep quiet. Attorney Regis and Romanus Pontifex is what. I've not even got paper here, I swear to God. I go on video having a fag outside. Attorney Regis, Romanus Pontifex are the creation of how the crowns and the subsequent trusts were created. And that's what I got off Santos, but I confirmed it with Romley and Franco, Collins, Gordon, Maxwell, and it's very, very deep. And the Vatican, as Steve McRae was involved with, when I first met him, I was like, "What's all this?" And bless him, he had like a good hour and a half, 2 hour chat with me privately and explained quite a lot. And I went, "Aha."
This is why man suffers so much fine and forfeiture at the moment, because the crown is rented by Battenberg, Miss Lady herself, Elizabeth, and she rents it from the Vatican, and it comes at a price. It's a business arrangement, so she must then rent that asset at price and rent it back to us, obviously for profit, because that's how business works, and that's why we have to pay such services as we do. It's for the rental of that crown, which they impose upon the person, operate it with fine and forfeiture, and with a lovely profit as well. And if you don't pay your fine and forfeiture, we'll imprison you, and we'll pay ourselves nicely and handsomely for the privilege of it all, straight from you, directly from your banking bond, which you are registered into. So either way around, House Crown wins, unless you know the rules of the game.
Sorry, I'm yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. What can we say after that?
I have no idea. We got to learn the rules, man. That's all.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. The rules is the language, and once you've learnt the language, which is the rules and what to play next, it's just learning to play the game better than them. That's all. It's the same as soccer or football or snooker or darts. We all know how to play it. We've just got to play it a little bit better than the other side. That's all. Don't worry about what their team's up to. Don't worry about what their tactics are. Don't worry about what their suit looks like in their case. Worry about your own. Make sure you've done all your own diligence, you've dotted all your I's, you've crossed all the T's, you've done everything that's just right and proper. Put your suit in your case and bring it forth. And it's as simple as that. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Worry about your own. And good faith, clean hands and honour shall prevail every damn time. It's as simple as that. You cannot rebut what is just right and proper.
Can I ask you something, Andy? Do solicitors use the law that you've understood or the wording? Do they use what you're talking about to get their client out, or are they only doing it?
No, of course they don't. They advocate the legalese language. They advocate that they represent, they bring forth the person, they raise the dead, into the room, that they get the best deal for themselves and the bank. That's what they are oathed into of their society. They have the oath of allegiance to do what's right and proper to them, not to us.
So they couldn't show that there's another way, could they? They don't want you to know that. They don't want Joe public to know the other way, do they?
Of course, there's two jurisdictions of law here running side by side, and they only show you the one. You think you're in one river, but they'll put you up that river without a paddle, and that's the trouble. You hear it. You're up the creek without a paddle. That's it's all water law, and it's all the banking holding in that currency. The banks holding the flow. We are the flow and the currency. Without us, there is no them. And so we have to make them realise that in that instance, hey up sunshine, without me, who are you? So let's put you in your place straight away. Let's get this relationship straightened out instantly. Let's know whom you are making the claim here, and we'll have this dealt with forthwith. And it's at that point that they will normally crumble and fold, because they have no indictable seat to sit in. They're not insured to be there in case you are suffered a harm or a loss. Because as we well know, since 1931, the currency holds no substance. There's no backing to it. So inevitably, you could be talking private claims and taking their property from them. Their nice fat Range Rovers and cottage and farm houses could be very, very nice on your portfolio. They know when you know the rules, they're not going to mess about with you.
Can I ask you something then? If there's this other side, which you can, sorry, I don't really like to use the word use, but you know what I mean, talk about. Why have they
invoke it? You invoke the correct jurisdiction.
Why have they allowed the right one to stay there then? Why have they allowed the good part to stay, even though they're trying to channel it all through the bad part? So why have they let the good part stay? What you're talking about? Why is that allowed to stay then?
Because it's the court of equity. It's the court of chancery. It's always been there, but man isn't taught how to evoke that. And that's why you have a public and a private schooling. Everything is duality. And the private, we'll call them children, but a child is a property of corporation. But for namesake, we'll call them children. A private child is educated to a high level, and they will go on to comprehend and understand the verbatim that I'm using. And that's why they go on to be the managers and the proprietors and the CEOs of said corporations, whereby a public schooled child, not educated, schooled, shall go on to just have maybe a medium size or a larger sweeping brush if it's done well.
Hello?
Hello.
Go for it, David.
Glitch then, sorry. The King's Court is, yeah, he's right, it's bang on there. I can't go for the numbers because I am tired. It's something about an Adjudicator Act that you might want to search. I don't know. I think that's relevant. About 1867. But the Chancery and why they've left it is because if they didn't, for one, leave us something to get out with, get out of jail free with, it would be one slavery, wouldn't it? We'd be forced with no.
What it is, I'll tell you right now. I'll show.
Deceptive bondage by go on, Andy, but yeah, there's a way out because they've built a system of shit on something that was good, and we don't know about the good because we're not fortunate enough to have that education. So we've got that education and found all this out. Yeah, they can't have it just one way because the Human Rights Act alone, which is a public order act, would govern it. Say, well, hang on a minute, these humans over here have got no option. It'd be like we'd be like the Palestinians, no ID, no rights. You know what I mean? But we're English apparently. We've got rights and we're intelligent. The Queen, she protects us. Wow.
I'm going to forget. Let me tell you. I'll break it down. I was leading on to it. I'll break it down for you why it's still there. Because at the end of the day, the rule of the natural law is, and their rule is that he who makes claim has the burden of proof and must provide the remedy. So if there is no remedy within the common law at law level, which the one they are running at, you can take it higher and evoke the laws of equity and trust if you are there in clean hands and you're in honor. So they have to leave that open because whilst they are making claim against your person, they also have to provide a remedy. And once you know how to evoke the remedy, it's there in plain sight for you, but they're just schooled and indoctrinated us not to know it.
And it's like these guys are saying, these brothers and sisters are saying to us, listen, Dave, listen to the realm and that, the flat earth, especially to a comment that flat earth guy made. This is to, Karen, Patricia, flat earth, Astral. You guys have comprehended something that is so mentally unfathomable, unspeakable in some realms, to some. They can't. It fractures the psyche. And then when you got flat earth guy going on about subquantum and, all these kind of, nuclear type fission particles and everything that you talk about with the fractionality and the light and the gravitation, sometimes I think these guys are clever as shit. You know what I mean? So what you think about, it's a two-way street. Honestly, it is. It's all about give and take here. I sometimes think, I can't comprehend some of this. I have to go away and rinse my brain off after listening to you lot. So
David, it's not about
intellect.
Sorry, David, it's not about intellect in any way. It's only about understanding something, overstanding, as you'd say, Andy.
Understanding, brother. To understand this,
that's all it is basically. Because it doesn't matter what subject it is. Master, if you study something long enough, you could become a master of it, can't you? Like a piano or anything.
Yeah, and if you look at bullshit long enough, you can see it's bullshit, can't you? And it's not so much the glitter on it, and it's not a gold bar at all. It's a gold bar sprinkled with glitter they've given you, and we've seen through it. Pardon my French, but it's a joke. It really is. All of it's a lie, and we've found out, and we've done our own research, our own due diligence, and as it says in the Gospels and the teachings and all of the prophanic speakers around, reality.
In the biblical text, man, it's all written in the scriptures, manuscript. The script from man, it's all there written. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. That's why they've got it as a religious order. So a natural living man would automatically refrain from picking that up because we're not of a religion. However, we are of a faith. I have faith in myself. I have faith in those around me, and I have faith that the verbatim that is scripted within those textures are that which you can repel the Canaan side of the border. And it's as simple as that. That's what's written there. I've used it, and it does work. It's that easy.
The textures of terra firma. Oh, that's a good one, that, Andy.
Very, very nice. As above is below. It's as simple as that. All is within. If you think there's anybody out there you're reaching out to God, or hell is below, or anywhere like that, heaven is here. Heaven is within. Blissfulness, happiness, it's all here. Hatred, evil, it's all here. It's how you evoke it, it's how you manifest it, and it's how you portray that from yourself and perceive it from others. And it's the equilibriums of all of that that you got to bring into check and get yourself as one, and bring yourself forward in the divine consciousness. It's a hell of a journey, let me tell you. I've come from a bit of a council background. I've been incarcerated. I've been to these places, you know, and
Andy, can I ask, have you read the Kabbalion at all?
No, I haven't. I've read the English and the Canaan Bibles.
Oh, by the three initiates. It's by this is the Hermetic principles we've been speaking of recently. I've recently brought this up, but I've shown Andy this. It's got the 7 principles of all its mind and vibration, and that's it, Andy. That's the Kabbalion.
I've had passages from it, but I've never individually read it front to back as I have the others. I would, though, given the chance.
So when people come over to your channel, do they get an A to Z of this, or you just talk about the whole thing, really? Because
we just babble on. It runs off the cuff. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't give myself any structure. I don't give myself any misguided hope, or I don't, raise my levels too high. I just always stay on a calm. Dave will tell you I'm so laid back, and it's no good trying to plan things and stuff like that, because when it goes wrong, you aim too high and you fall too far and all that kind of thing. So it's just equilibrium for me. It's off the cuff. It's from the heart. I can, answer most of those lawful, legal questions and things like that. But it's just a role in life that I've been pushed into taking, initially through the loss of my children, secondary through the loss of my living. I've had to learn how to dispel from bailiffs and court attendances and all these types of things. And it's just become a whole belief system which I've taken on board and lived with, and it's just right and proper, and it's of a divine consciousness, and it's to love thy neighbour and do right and proper to yourself and those around you. And it's really easy, really, once you just
you almost need leaflets, don't you? And so if the law says this, what it really means is that this means that, and this means that. Yes,
it's actually illegal to use your legal name, so get your head around it. It's all a fraud. It's all a fiction. The words I use against you it's fictional. It's legalese language, not our language. Bring forth the law that stops someone read that language.
What are they like then? Do they think, oh, he's understood it?
That's exactly the notion that you get. I speak to many managers, and I'll go to these establishments in persona. I won't write them a letter. I'll turn up to their establishment, and they'll just generally send a manager to discharge whatever claim that they've made against me in the first instance. They won't bring the legal team to represent themselves. They won't bring anybody downstairs to me, because my paperwork precedes me, and they take it and have it checked, and they return and just thank me for coming and hope that I don't put a charge on their asses.
Sorry, I was muted. So what's it like when you start talking in a court and they start listening to you? For
start off, I don't advocate going to court. I've only been to court in close family cases and in my own for my offspring and my assets. But however, I have had also other court cases whereby we hear on the news and what the lamestream media, whereby they've settled out of court. And that's exactly what happens here. When man operates in the private and the paperwork precedes you, it shouldn't get to the court stage, because they know instantly through the verbiage, through the rules, through what you've compelled them to do in any given capacity that they are compelled to have, that they just can't get around that. It's as simple as that. Once you know what you are, whom they are, you can't deny that. What is they are there in that salaried role to perform. And I want a just and fair exchange for that performance. It's as simple as that.
Perform, act, statutes, performer, actors, titles. Think. There you go. Perform. Yeah.
It's all the word. So it's all about performance and exchange. If I'm there to give a performance, when I want just and fair exchange, I want just and fair compensation from a performance. I've enacted that role. There you go. It's a performance. I require just and fair compensation. There's the fee schedule. How are you paying me? So once you put that into letter and tell them that's what's going to happen, should I turn up in personam, they won't have you there because it's very, very expensive.
Hmm.
Don't want to cost them any money.
That you're there in their mind,
They
you're
don't
there
like that.
to earn them money. You're there for them to put the
Right.
finger into your bond. But once you realise that you are not that bond and you are that of man, and you haven't permissioned them to put their dirty, grubby little fingers into your
Right.
bond, and you know that, they won't try and bother. They'll just move on to the next easy victim.
Right. Next.
Exactly.
Are they just wanting you to go in and go, guilty?
Exactly. As a person in persona, acting as a role, acting as that business corporate entity, the dead fictional name,
I think
the
the
one that's
mean
uppercased.
you don't even realise that you're saying you're guilty. You think you're just saying, yeah, okay, that's my name, blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
if you go guilty, that's pleading, and only animals plead. Man doesn't plead. Man's either done a right or a wrong, and if you've done a wrong, you must put it right. It's as simple as that. However, if you endeavour not to do a wrong, you'll have a smoother, easier life.
Exactly.
Mm.
I'll make it sound quite easy. I'll make it sound very layman and very easy, but it's a complicated system, and it's difficult to start with. But once you get your head around it and you realise what's what, and you've dispelled the first few claims, word soon gets around on the system, because ordinarily in this perpetual debt system, our details are being sold onto one another, as we always know. That's why they brought new acts and statutes now, to try and prevent that. But it will never prevent it, because there's too many millions and billions of pounds and dollars and everything else being made at it. So until you can put an end to that in the correct capacity and status, it's always going to happen. They're all trying to get your energy, whether through your sweat equity, whether one way or another, they're trying to earn off your salary, whether it's through your bond or through your salary. It's either way around. The system is there with these gatekeepers to keep a hold of you, to keep you in that field, to keep you in that pen, not to let you out. You've got to break free. Freedom is literally within a piece of paper.
But keep that thought, hold that train of thought, everybody. Now let's think of Brexit and the European agreement and islands borders and what we're going to do, right? I'm not trying to scare you. This is real now. Keep the train of thought. What do we do when we get a no-deal Brexit and all of these bumbling fools haven't managed to make a deal in over 3 years? They couldn't tie their own shoelaces without an aid, I'm sure. I don't know how they get into these positions. I referenced David Davis, Boris Johnson, the President of America. What the actual... but still, Brexit, Anglo, man, if they mess this up like they mess everything up, do you realise, everybody that's listening, not to scare you, this landmass cannot produce enough food and assets and things that we need to sustain us if these schoolboy chimps don't get this right? We've got a very, 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 very large financial, economical and food crisis on the loom, and average Joes like Andy, Dave, Astral, sisters Patricia, Karen, all of your subscribers, my subscribers, the Trust's men.
Hello? Did we just lose David?
I think one of them.
Money, the banks. Think of Game of Bones and have your fill. That's what we're up against, and we are in a lot of trouble. Seriously, I do need to get this because it keeps me awake at night, and I don't like to speak about this because it's doom and gloom. But that's the bottom line. We're facing.
David, can I ask you're where are you referencing this from? Where are you getting this information from? Because if
Listen
you're
to
getting it
me.
from,
You want me to be
if
serious?
you're
You're
getting
going to
it
laugh
from
at
the
me.
newspapers and from the news on
Yeah.
the TV,
All around.
I think you
Listen,
should look a bit deeper into things. Like, it's only just like begun as well, hasn't it?
do you
not
trust
all
them?
doom and gloom
Have you
yet.
got faith in them? My question to you, I'll go Paxman. Yes or no? Do you think they can
No.
successfully? Exactly. That's all I need. That's all I need, because I think no too. So regardless of the hype in the media, bottom line is we all know we're going to get some. We're going to pay for this one way or the other. You know, they're doing something.
Brexit
They're not
is a
doing it
smoke
well.
and mirrors operation it's to put man off while they're sweeping the EU rule and legislation, wiping out the common law jurisdiction of the landmass and England. That's what's going on.
That, Andy, it's not only that, but when you've got massive billion international stock market floated, thousands of billions of turnover of millions, and they're going to pull out of our market because our government, conservative Theresa May government, friends and family and brothers and sisters, right now under the Queen, the title, the fiction that isn't the Queen, are doing all these games. And if they mess it up, what we need you to know is, bottom line, there are other ways other than money and fighting and killing to exist, and we need to get this information in families' heads that there are other ways while we still have this grimace of power left, or you know, before what Andy's just said actually gets imposed in the form EU private funded elite officers on this landmass with tasers and weapons and God knows what kind of 4x4 armored vehicles while they're spraying the sky and keeping us in line. That's coming. That is coming.
Absolutely.
Well,
you say that an existence. We're not
this referendum for years. You mean to tell me that they didn't have a to and a fro? So if we stayed or if we voted out, they would have had the plans already, because you can't go into a referendum without some kind of plan.
An exit. A Brexit and exit.
Aren't they? Say, you want to do it, really? I bet you they're going to hold
That's
off.
called a reset, man.
Yeah, so an exit, it's existence.
I'll tell you what it's called. It's
and
called
that's what
fear.
they want, an existence
It's
of person.
called fear. They're trying to scare the shit out of you. That's all they're trying to do.
Yeah, we need
creating.
to know. We need you to know.
We all know exactly what it is. Hegelian dialectic, isn't it? Problem, reaction, solution.
Exactly that, brother.
Listen to what I'm saying. That's exactly what it is.
That's what it is.
Creating something.
Like the Manchester's bombings or the London bombings or 9/11 or anything else. It's all problem, reaction, solution. It's all perpetrated by them.
You have to look deeper into things rather than just take things at face value. It's all it's too superficial. Absolutely, way too superficial. You know, look deeper.
Haven't they? Because the moment it happened, they devalued us. We went from being sort of the rich man of Europe to the poor man of Europe. So we could go on holiday and be okay with our money. And going on holiday, we had hardly any money because it was such a bad exchange.
They devalued us in 1931 when they removed all the backing of the currency.
The gold, man. They took the gold.
We have no value. The only value we have is a fiction. It's in your mind how much you think it's worth, because it says 20 on it. 20 pounds of what? 20 pounds of carrots, 20 pounds of potatoes, 20 pounds of what, please? Take it into the bank and ask for your 20 pounds back.
We lost the crown because of some kind of bankruptcy around about then. That's a very poignant point that Santos mentions, and others as well, about what we did and what happened with the currency in America. Was it America, the great financial crash as well? Yeah, these were, you know, we looked into, I'm sorry to be somber again, but this is factual, real matrix shit we're in now. We looked at
Dave, I'm sorry to be rude, man. I've just only noticed the time of the evening, and I've got to be up at 5:30 to want to attend the steering wheel in that lorry. So it's as emotional as it's been, very touching. I've got to chirp off and
it was good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andy. Nice hearing from you again, brother.
You too, brother. It's nice to be back. And thank you for having me, and thank you for listening.
Love you, brother.
And
have a great time with Santos on Saturday.
Excellent, thank you. And take on board my belief. Absolutely, the book of the King James is where I got it from. It's just it's a faith, it's a belief. It's brought me relief, and I've been able to turn over a new leaf. So
nice.
Take it easy, man.
And tell people the Earth's flat occasionally, right?
The plane, the dominion that I reside and
tell
dwell
them
upon.
the water doesn't bend. That's all you gotta tell them.
Well, you can't bend the surface of water. It doesn't matter how clever you are. It doesn't matter how many names you have after you, letters you have after your name, or anything like that. You just cannot do it. The more letters you have after your name, the more confused you are. That's what I think. Anyway, thank you. Bless you all. Peace, light, and love.
Thank you so much.
Good night, Andy.
Thank you.
Lots of love, Andy. Cheers, brother.
Speak to you tomorrow, Dave.
Thank you.
Bye, darling.
It's just a lot of information coming out
Woo.
at such a rate that it's very hard to process
I
it
know
all.
what you're
My
going
goodness.
through. Yeah, you have a brain fuzz. It's called a brain fuzz. What you initially get is cognitive dissonance, where you know that what you're hearing is probably right, and you're going to go and check it out at some point, and you have this little bit where your voice in your head may speak to you, and you may start to talk to yourself, which is then the entrance of your higher self. And the technologies and laws that we use aren't just man-made, bastardized laws or cannibalized laws of the Bible, the canons that go with the UCC, Admiralty and Maritime, of the bondage and the commerce. So we use the Creator's divinity. See, Greg Braden is one of the guys that I like to watch when I was, into this. And what Santos has said, as you said, with synchronicity. And once you contact this, there's no going back, and you immerse yourself into a reactive pool of I don't know what to call it, fam, but it's real and it works. And I think that this man Andy was sent to me. I believe that something keeps sending me good souls for this journey that we're on in this contract, and you lot are included in that, by the way, all of you here now, and
Right.
viewers. And it's like, because I'm too giddy and hyper and passionate, he's been sent to slow me down, hasn't he, and give me a bit of structure, bless him. And I'm so glad that he's turned up, because he's a great example to everyday men. See that fist on my icon? Be your own hero. That's heroes.
Hello?
We're heroes, and get that in yourselves, and that's what we're here to do, hopefully, and instill you and big you up a bit and give you a little boost, and a bit of positiveness in the,
In a pile of shit.
We try. We don't want to overwhelm you. We want you to feel empowered, strong,
Yes.
knowledgeable, and who you are, what you're doing, what you're obliged to do, what you're not obliged to do, where the trickery and the demons are and the deception, because in the end days, beware of deception. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've heard that before, haven't you? And what have we just talked about for the last 2 hours? Nothing but deception. It's here. We're in it, and this is the time. This is what we're doing. I believe we've got a helping hand, because when man comes out and says, "Hey, looking for some members, and we need some assistance. We're looking to grow," and I get a return of 133,000 versus my 5,000. That's one of the things that have happened recently. That's a synchronicity of sorts. Santos ringing my phone and saying, "Hey, up, are you free? Come on, let's chat." And arranging that, that in the same week. Then we've had over, I'm not going to say the amount, but we've had a tremendous amount of donations coming for T-shirts and hoodies and, the clothing designing brand. And we're having successes and wins and positive news. So it's almost like too good to be true for us at the minute. So just know that, and that it does come round. You have faith, as Andy's had faith. He's applied himself. He's applied the logic. He's put it into practicality. He's given it the faith, and then it somehow, whatever it is, acknowledges you and rewards you for it. And then once you're on that game, if you play it right, it keeps getting bigger. The stakes getting higher, and it's like, oh days. I said to Andy and Greg, we need to stop this and think what we're doing, because it's getting a bit scary. It truly is getting a bit scary, if you can comprehend what I'm saying, and you've got any synchronicities or things like that in your life, when you know, and when you know, and you're like, wow, boys, we need to chat. You do.
Yeah. We do. We have to. We have to keep that.
So much power in this brain and in your body. If you haven't seen Dr. Masoro, is it Dr. Masoro Imato, rice water experiment, messages from water, and the cymatics and all of this research that you guys have brought up and mixed in with Tesla and others? It's what we have here is 3% of our brain operational. We're trying to increase it to omega 5, where we are, the codons and the DNA and all of that. We're operating in a very, very basic realm. And as we're pointing out to you now, we thought we were great, clever, smart, whatever, upstanding pillars of, but we don't know our arse from our elbow. And they've done a very, very good job over 2,000 years to get to this point. And this plan, it's not even complete yet, but we're somewhere in it, and now we're resisting it. We're putting ourselves in great risk to do this, and so are you guys, by what you're covering and how you're being, targeted. So that's why we're all in it together.
Amen.
Yeah,
man.
maybe with the DJ, David, you didn't think you'd be doing this, did you?
No.
Well, the DJ part was me trying to forget about what the courts had done and the ostracization and the parental alienation from not letting me see my blood because the legal system deemed it this way, and so therefore man can't see, and I didn't know, so I went off to DJ and forget myself for a bit after life turned sour, and I was inadvertently being trained by the universe now, because after DJing in front of quite big, hundreds of people over continents over time, being under the influence of alcohol, I got a bit, I don't mind saying, a bit cocky. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't have some DJs, when they come out there to work, they're like, oh, wow, what do you do? How is it? And you can see them shaking and the hands are, they're good DJs, but the adrenaline takes over, and it's like, wow, you need to calm down here, have a fag and that, I'll start off and just watch what happens, and I'll warm them up and get them into it. And then, because there's so many of them, party people, you know what it's like, Zante and Spanish, Mediterranean, it's just get wasted. And I'm sorry I was involved in that, but I think it inadvertently trained me for this part of my life that was not known to me, needing to speak and go out there and be a focal point, but swap the vinyl records for public records. If I was still DJing, I'd say, Judge Jules, he's still on the scene. Can we have I'm Sovereign Dave. What are we saying? As King versus Judge. Come on, let's go back to back, but them days are gone. I've got the public records in sight, and I think, life has a plan for us all. And you may think now that it's really weird and, you're at a dead end. I've been suicidal and homeless. Life has not been good for me, and I'm surprised I'm still here after car crashes and accidents. So just know this, that you've got, there is a plan, and you do grow in the dark. The dark place is a horrible place. It's cold. You don't like it. It's lonely. But you are there for a reason, and if you accomplish what you need to accomplish within your thyself, Santos again, energies, spirits, it's truly amazing. It really is.
Yeah, I agree there, by the way. But it changes you as a person, haven't you? You've changed as a person through all this once you understand so much more about things. Changes everything, doesn't it?
The question, yes, you were bang on, sister. I'll reference Buddha. Buddha, what have you lost by learning Buddhism? No, Buddha, sorry, I'm tired. What have you gained from Buddhism? And Buddha answered, it's not what I have gained from Buddhism, it's what I have lost. Fear, anxiety, loss of control of emotion, jealousy, hatred, and all of this. I'm like, whoa, this is going a bit Jedi now, like, Buddha, what you do? George Lucas is going a bit like the Force, the energy, the ether, the vortex, the toroidal. And I'm like, hang on a minute, this is all, we've had clues, and you put it together, and, it doesn't take long before we get to where we need to be.
When you're looking at
that, and that's what this learning curve for you. You will lose that, but it's not Buddhism. It's just a faith. So we don't give it a name like a religion. This, if you want, what would be a religion, is just man's new logic. That's it, simple, and that's how we'd compare that to. It's a new way. We've got a consciousness, have we not? And we are very bright, very strong, very articulate, very self-governed, very questionable to authority. We've been given a job, a character, a mind, a soul, and a spirit. And I invoke all of you to use it. And that's what we're here to do, to light that spark back in anybody. If you're in a dark place, if you're confused, if you're lost, if you're weak, if you're vulnerable, we haven't got an answer for everything, but we've got an answer that will fix most things. That's how we put it, yeah? We've got a database that can fix 99.9% of man's problems. It's just, and it does range from a great deal of things, and it comes from know thyself. It's incredible.
And when you're looking at all this stuff, and you want to obviously to talk to Santos, you realise that even though you're looking maybe at a big aspect of it, but it actually includes all that and that and that and that. It just goes on, doesn't it?
Everything is connected, and you are awesome. We are you, and that's why they say, Dave, stop talking to flat earth people. You're gonna blah blah blah. It's dangerous. I'm like, listen, it's not. It's only dangerous because you deem it in your decompartmentalization of just relax. It's coming from me as well. Breathe, come and have a look, listen, and see. And some of their arguments warp my mind. I don't mind saying, and I thought I was quite good with science, and when you heard some of your complex things, I'm like, hang on a minute then, hang on a minute, I need to go back and do some sums. Yeah, and it's like the scriptures and the gospels all say the realm, plain, flat. Admiral T. Bird, when I found out about him, that was it then. Hook, line and sinker, bosh, no going back. We've been lied to. That's public disclosure or a psyop. Anybody know about T. Bird? Admiral expedition with America to the South Pole?
Yeah.
What? Can we talk about that? Who knows about that? Let's have some, yeah, well, I know we're late. I do need to sleep, actually, sister, but that's important for Flat Earth subject. T. Bird's expedition of the 60s, 40s. 60s,
Well, yeah. We've been going for a couple of hours, and I know you're really tired, but if you want to do that bit, yeah, just... Do you think he's real? Do you think it's like people were sending me videos that basically they made it like a story? And even with Admiral Byrd, there were dogs, and they suddenly on this TV program it said, and then there was a smell, and the next thing is the dogs had puppies. One of the dogs they've taken. So it was all about that, and it was all done in the 50s, you know, where they're stopping to have a cup of tea, sort of thing. And you're thinking they're saying, well, it was all done for the television. It's all just a bit like NASA. It was just
yeah, psyop then, yeah.
That's what these videos are sort of showing. It was like a series on the telly sort of thing with Admiral Byrd.
I've looked. I'm just saying I need to do more research on it all, but the claims are truly tremendous what he's saying. Flying through the South Pole and X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, hang on a minute, and it's been like so many 50, 60 years now. Disclosure is legally able to be done, and how they disclose is truly indirect all of the time, as we've seen. Interesting, but yeah, it is late. We have gone on for a long time. I haven't looked at the chat room. I do apologise. I just got tiny red eyes, so yeah, forgive me.
Would you like to sort of, because we have been going, we've been going a couple of hours, and probably everybody would have to listen to this hangout again.
Yeah, I know.
The words. Would you like to finish, David?
Yeah, we can finish. We can wrap it up here. By all means, yes, my love. Famalan is good.
David's only had 4 hours sleep. I think I only had about 5. I was waiting for a video to upload last night. Yes, thank you to everybody in the chat room. David's a very passionate, really nice guy. So, and you just want everybody to know the truth, don't you? That's what it is.
I don't know how I've ended up doing this. Let me tell you now, this isn't my job. It wasn't my job. It shouldn't be my job, but it is my job. I accept it. And yes, I don't know where the passion comes from. Sometimes when I speak, I don't have a piece of paper in front of me, and it's like something just puts the words in that I think you need to hear. And I know it's a bit fast and fragmented and deep, but I love you to bits, guys, and thank you very much. Peace and love. I'll stay on as well, Karen. I did get your message. We
love you too, David. I appreciate the fact that, you found out all this sort of way of explaining how we should be using our law.
It takes a weirdo's brain. To be fair, I'm not calling myself a weirdo, but it's I have a unique way. Andy has a unique way. You lot are unique in your own way, but ADHD and dyslexia, these are sociological negatives that we get labelled and pigeonholed with. They're a wicked advantage, not a wicked, they're an excellent advantage when you realise it's not, you can apply that to remembering record names and the tracks, MP3s and remixes. That's why my mixes and sets, some of the clubs, and I'll give you the web links to them, and I've got testimonials saying, some of the nicest, most well thought out, put together mixes, tracks, harmonics, messages, all of that. The club I was at was called Republic. That gives you a clue. I didn't even know, but that's the universe telling me where I'm going next and what I'm doing, and nothing but love and peace and families and joining hands, and it's a nice journey we've been on, and I just embrace it now, and I want you to know that it isn't all me. I will be honest with you, I'm not schizophrenic, but I watch stuff back sometimes now and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, just quickly, because I know you want to finish in a minute, but for the chat room, explain what you actually do. You help people at court.
No, because I'm getting bombarded with that. That's exactly what I don't do. I have done it as a little favour to some in the past, and I've tested out I can't come and preach about something if I haven't done it in my own life or we haven't practiced it. That isn't fair on man. There's people out there on YouTube, be warned, protesting and testifying and saying that they can do X, Y, and Z. And these poor brothers and sisters watch this and they go out and they lose. And it's, I don't know why it happens and what's going on, but you have to be careful. Yeah, you really do. But we have the knowledge and the capability to dispel the demons and evil and the Roman, assumption and presumptions of the civil temple, BAR, all of that Santos and everyone goes on about. So what we've done is create a Facebook trust, and you will find that by searching the word sovereign and then the space, the second word paralegals, and it has a weird title. It's called a trust. So look for that and you'll see trust est, nunc pro tunc, which is Latin for now, for then, and then some numbers, which is a trust title. You're welcome to answer them questions. Use sun and moon for reference, and hang out, and the admins will pick that up and let you in after a quick profile check, of course, due diligence. And then we have a .com, which has just been born. It's not even a year old, and we are delighted to be able to present this, because there is some coursework coming with that in the form of a Sovereign Masters Foundation. It's a free guild workshop that we're going to do with a download PDF ebook, and it's going to be hosted and primarily on the .com, but it will be for free, and it will promote the new domain and the consciousness of our mind. So we are an online digital university with a new concept for what is it, that hangout title did I say? We are the expressions of freedom from the descendants of slaves, and we are going to free the slaves and no longer be slaves, and teach you the technology and language you need to do it yourself. I don't offer a representative service. No, I was going to do that, but there's too much help needed. So we need to put down what we know in a downloadable directory, a safe place, a private place, and then leave it for others and our blood and lineage, for those that want to come and consider using it, that may find us interesting. Then that will be there forever, so we can stop having to do the videos and the seminars and everything. Well, not stop, we can do other stuff. We can utilize our time more effective. So we'd like you to consider learning and being educated. And it does mean, to some extent, deleting your operating system, forgetting everything and coming and having a chat and sacrificing your time.
Delete your operating system.
Well, format the hard drive and stuff. I'm sorry, but you've got to. It's a nasty thing to say, but basically, if you can tell me something that's right that you know of, then I'll have it. But I think 95, you may as well just do 100% format. Keep your soul to one side, crack on and say, right, what we're doing, Dave, and we'll give you some videos and books and things and publications, and you go off at your own speed. But don't pick a battle if you don't know how to fight it. I'm sorry, if there's no one to help you, sometimes when the man picks the battle, woman picks the battle, they don't fight it properly and they come off worse for wear, and they get a summary judgment. So just be careful. I know it's honourable to try and fight it, but we would say conditionally accept, remain in honour, and then ask for proof of claim. In a nutshell, don't fight, don't be vexatious, don't damage, no swearing, no anger, and you'll see a fruitful ending, hopefully, most of the time. Thank you very much. Peace and love.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Indi Glow. Thank you to everybody in the chat room for listening. Mind blowing as ever. So much information to take in. Thank you, Andy, who's not here anymore. Thank you, Flat Earth Dude, Patricia, Astral, and of course David. Thank you to everybody. We're back tomorrow, and peace and love.
And thank you, Karen.
It's a pleasure. To everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
And thank you, David and Andy, for all their information.
Fabulous.
Bye, everybody.